Today's game are certified through the United States Lacrosse Association and assigned by the Greater Cincinnati Lacrosse Association. Their experience and integrity qualify them to administer the rules of the game, and their decisions in the contest should be respected by everyone in attendance, and their service to the game appreciated by all.
Hello everybody and welcome into ICRC's TV production of Girls High School Lacrosse alongside Patrick Sweeney. I'm Luke Bredeman. And Patrick, today this matchup between the Mason Comets and the Mariemont Warriors is not just a great D1 versus D2 girls lacrosse matchup. They're playing for a lot more this afternoon.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, today is the Staying Loudly ALS game. Sam Telkamp was diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, in May of 2022 at the unusual age of 25. Sam gave up her dream job and returned home. Just in this short time, there have been many changes and challenges. To follow Sam's journey, you can go to stayingloudly.wordpress.com/blog/.
Today is a huge day for Mariemont Lacrosse, and we are about to open it up with the opening draw. Patrick, two very talented teams here. Mariemont comes in 16th in the state, right in ahead of them, the Division I Mason Comets. What can you tell us about this matchup?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a battle of two powerhouses, two Ohio powerhouses. Mason comes into this game just above 200 goals scored and just over 100 goals allowed. Mariemont comes into this matchup with 140 goals scored and just above 100 goals allowed. So I think this game is going to come down to the defense.
Yeah, for sure, Patrick. Mariemont's defense is going to have to clamp down, considering Mason already eclipsing that 200 goals mark pretty early into the season. Not really thinking about the postseason too much just yet. Maybe seeding for people looking way too far ahead. But we're going to hop into the draw just now. Mariemont versus Mason. Looks like it's Kuwach versus Mahoney. And they're off.
On the draw,
they get a foul on the Warriors, excuse me. It's actually Peyton Flynn who won the draw for Mason. And Patrick, you know where she's going next year.
Yeah, I heard she's going to Temple for lacrosse.
Very impressive. Mason's going to roll the cage early. Brenna O'Brien in between the pipes for the Warriors. Very talented with super quick hand-eye coordination. She's made some terrific saves early on in this young season. Here's another girl to look out for, Ava Mahoney, one of the best players for the Comets. She feeds inside. This ball is knocked away by the freshman Jane Mueller, and she's going to slow it down and dump it off to O'Brien. A little bit of trouble with the clear there from Brenna. This one's going to go to Emmy Tepe behind the cage, and the Warriors look to reset their clear. Deep pass to Piper George, and Patrick, you and I know 21 is another girl to look out for on the field today.
Yeah, Julia Jarelis, very talented.
Mason will get the ball back after the Warriors failed clear. Sarah Comer too sharp of an angle there on the ride. It's getting a little physical, and that's a charging call. They go back in the other direction, back and forth early on in the opening minutes. Here's Lucy Lysett in the middle of the field, and the Warriors have the ball in Mason territory for the first time this afternoon. Patrick, this Mariemont team, 9 seniors if I'm not mistaken, but one thing that has hurt them early on is they had to fill a lot of spots, oddly enough, from last year. They had a great senior class graduate after winning a very exciting state championship game in Columbus. What do you think the biggest importance for a young kid is playing on varsity? As Piper George shoots, and a great save made by Ella Shemak, the senior goalie. But for a younger kid, because you've done it before, you're a junior this year, you played a lot last year on the varsity boys team here at Mariemont. Like, what's the biggest thing with getting experience early?
The big thing is staying composed. I remember last year in big games such as semifinal, getting pretty nervous. It honestly, it doesn't help your confidence. You get out of yourself. You play, and you make common mistakes that just normally aren't made. So I think the biggest key is staying composed.
Great pass inside for Caroline Solar, and the Warriors strike first with 22.5 minutes left in the first half of play. Very pretty feed inside.
Opening up the scoring for the Warriors.
And that's a name that we're going to call a lot today.
Caroline Solar, assisted by Laurel Black.
Laurel Black with a great feed there. As she had cutting senior midfielder Caroline Solar, just to sneak it past number 67, Ella Shemak.
is Shemek. Nothing she can do there, going pipe to pipe. A very quick stick from Caroline Solar. She'll be playing at the next level. We talked about Flynn going to Temple. Caroline will actually be staying inside of Cincinnati. She's going to be a Bearcat next year, so super impressive players on both sides of the field.
Something to note is Cincinnati and Temple are both in the American Athletic Conference, so they will be playing each other at the next level.
A little bit of a procedure here. It's going to go in Mason's direction. Warriors having trouble on the draws a little bit. They switched it up. They originally started with Caroline Solar. Now they're with CC Kuwach.
Blocking on the play.
But they have not yet won a draw in the first couple minutes. Something to look out for. And Flynn's taking it from Mason, so can't be too critical of the Warriors. Comets throw the ball away. JV game wrapped up a couple minutes ago before the varsity warm-ups, and the Warrior JV team clamped down on the Comets, holding them far into single-digit goals, and they scored about 12 goals, and it was a pretty easy win to start off this afternoon of girls lacrosse. Mariemont, just a very good Division II program, and Patrick, I would argue that they're a little bit of a dynasty now, winning back-to-back state titles.
I would totally agree. Looking for the third state championship in a row.
And there's Sarah Comer sticking it offside hip on Shemek. She has an absolute cannon.
Whistles one past the
Mariemont
goalie,
leads
hip
2-0.
high. Warriors on top, 2-0. Sarah Comer with the goal for the Warriors, unassisted.
Sarah Comer, just that rocket of a right-hand shot. Patrick, you play defense. What do you do when you play against someone who's just a really good shooter?
You got to get on hands early. You can't let them take those step downs. According to Coach Ferry, Sarah Comer's got a 90-mile-an-hour rocket, and there's nothing you can really do about that.
Yeah, I mean, if she gets the shot off, you can almost put it on the board, because girls like that, I mean, nobody's tracking that shot, especially from how close in girls shoot. Because you'll see a lot of guys shoot it from 15 yards, and some people can track that a lot easier than what these girls are tested with, especially the ones inside the pipes. Ball's loose after the draw. Another procedure on the Warriors, and Mason, they're winning the draws, but they're just not capitalizing. Flynn will start out with possession, dumps it in the attack unit. And here Mason comes in a little bit of an unsettled situation. They'll slow it down and get the ball behind.
From the start, it appears to be a lot of procedures on Mariemont.
Feed into Mahoney. Ball was dropped. Rolling the cage is Galinsky. She slows it down. Mariemont's defense, star-studded. Emmy Tepe, Megan Muller, Solar, CC, Addison Kaiser, and then of course Jane Muller, who gets knocked over there. Excuse me, that was actually Lucy Lysett. Really good defense from 27, and the Warriors are out in the clear.
For the Warriors was Lucy Lysett.
Kaiser into the middle to Caroline, and the track star is off to the races. Caroline passes the 40, puts it in her left. Looks like she plans on slowing it up. Little face dodge, bumps it out to Piper George, and Lainey Rippertella will get this offense started for the Warriors at about the 20-minute mark in the first half. Piper George clears out at the X position behind the cage. Mason chooses to not follow her back there. What do you think about that decision, Patrick?
Honestly, I'm not a fan of that decision. Piper George is an elite attackman, and I think that's someone you got to pressure to keep the ball out of her stick.
Horizontal stick.
Absolutely, very shifty, as we've already seen. Opening
Called
minutes.
against the
She's going to get
Comets.
a free shot here.
It will be
Pretty
Piper
low angle
George
though.
from the
We'll
free
see what she
position.
decides to do with it. Sometimes they dish it up here to a cutter. George comes in, passes everybody, goes low, and what a save
Piper
by
George
Shemek. Looked like
with the shot
George
after the
outran
fake.
both
Nice
Comet
save
defenders.
made by
Had a
Shemek
one-on-one,
for
dropped
the
her
Comets.
stick, and a little bit of a kick save from Ella Shemek.
Shemek looks to be settling in perfectly.
Benzinger clears it herself for the Comets. Inside pass to Kate Ryder. And they'll go back to Benzinger up top. This Mason team has a lot of seniors, Patrick. Off to a little bit of a slow
The
start.
word in
We
the
talked
press
about
box
early, like
is
you said in
that
the open,
Jersey Mike's and
205 goals
Cervantes
scored on
are
the year.
going quickly.
Offense a little bit stagnant in the opening
Step
minutes.
up for your lunch combo to get a Cervantes or Jersey Mike sandwich, as well as chips, drinks, and
Oh,
a
what a
cookie
save by
for
Brenna
$10.
O'Brien. Stuffs her on the crease.
Comets with that last
Feed
shot
inside,
was saved
Benzinger, it's good.
by O'Brien, but this time the shot
Excuse me,
does
that
go
was
in
Lydia
as the
Glinsky. What a
Comets are
feed,
on the
though,
board, down 2
by
to 1 to the Warriors.
33, Ava Mahaney. Excuse me, Mahoney.
Brenna with an incredible save to start off. I guess just fell short on the dump, crease dump.
Yeah, a little bit of rebound control there would have helped them, but saves that close one-on-one. You just want to stop it from going in the net, let alone get possession of it. It was a great feed there by Mahoney, though.
Absolutely.
That Comet
Can't take
goal
credit away
provided
from that.
by number 14,
Not much you can do as a
Lila
goalie,
Glinsky.
though,
2-1. We knew this one was going to be
Goal
back and forth. The
unassisted.
Warriors struck first. These two teams playing in their respective divisions only have one common opponent this year. It's Jackson Massillon. Mariemont beat them 12-7. Mason lost to them 10-7. So two tight games. The Warriors winning. Mason putting up an L in the stat column. 2-1 right now. We're under the 18 mark of the first half. CC Kuwatch up top, guarded by Flynn, the Division I commit. Set a little screen there for Solar. Patrick, do you kind of like the one-on-one isolation offense with the super talented Warrior team, or more of the ball movement, look for a slip, a screen, and then a dunk?
I'm a fan of this one-on-one. Honestly, isolating them, getting the defender one-on-one has proven to work all season, as the record has shown.
Absolutely.
7-4.
Yeah, they have the luxury of having girls just like Caroline Solar, and that's what we call in basketball an and one.
Caroline
A
Solar
foul on the play, the ref
gets
gave her
the
the
ball at the
advantage,
top
let her
of the
finish,
12,
and Solar with the
zigs and
left
zags,
hand in the
and
bottom
streaks
right
one to
corner.
pass
What a
the keeper
finish
for the
by the
third
senior
Mariemont goal.
superstar, Caroline Solar.
Warriors on top at the 17:26 mark. 3.
She possesses
Mason
something
Comets
unlike
won.
anyone I've seen. She is very versatile with both hands, and as you've seen, she can use right, left, and she just scored with her left.
Yeah, it's just that face dodge. Looks like she switches hands in a split second, just moving at a different speed compared to everyone else, really. That matchup right there is something to look out for, though.
Ava Mahoney and Caroline Solar.
So I just was familiarized. The girls who wear the bands on their arm are the captains. That's normally like a field hockey thing, I thought, on their sock, but
Yeah, I did not notice that until you pointed that out.
I don't think Mariemont does it though, but we've seen it the
Isn't
last
that
two
generally
road
a soccer
games.
thing?
Yeah, I knew that was a soccer thing. I didn't know if it like varied by type of league or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't watch too much soccer myself, but I was always interested because it felt like some of the best players always had an extra arm sleeve on their bicep.
Very true.
Here's Emmy Tepe showing off the speed. Oh, great play coming from behind for the Comets is Lydia Glinsky. Warriors pick it up, though. Caroline Solar runs through 3 girls and is definitely fouled there by Lexi Allen, the senior defenseman.
Foul called on the Comets.
I mean, that's just what Caroline can do to you. She just runs right through you, and she forces you to foul her, and if you don't foul her, then she's just going to keep going and probably score. George going on Flynn. Gets pushed down the alley. Too much of a push. That's going to be a foul.
Piper George with the spin move.
On the senior
3
Flynn.
seconds called on the Comets.
Was that shooting space foul?
I don't think she was about to shoot. I think it was just too hard of a push, maybe like a cross-check type. But some of these calls are just so specific that they're really hard to pick up from the press box.
Very true.
George inside, knifes through the defense and sticks it right over Shemak's head. Warriors lead 4-1.
Piper George. Cross the
Warriors
middle
come
from
out
the free
loud in the
position
staying
with the
loudly
goal.
game here
Warriors
at Kusel
4,
Stadium.
Comets 1.
And they're beating up on the Comets. I would not be surprised if a timeout is called soon.
Warriors are 39-4 in the last 2 seasons. This year, they have not had as great of a start as they are 7-4.
Yeah, but if you look at even who they're playing right now, they've gone out and played a ton of Division I opponents. I think the only shocking loss for them this year, and it wasn't really an upset, it was just a team that they normally don't lose to, is Indian Hill. And you and I were at that game at the student section. That Braves team is star-studded.
Totally. Their goalie played completely out of her trunk. Great game by the goalie. I'm pretty sure she got ICRC Player of the Game.
Yeah, she's a stud. Inside, tough shot, and even better save. Brenna O'Brien, the shooter was Claire Benzinger, and she had a lot of heat behind that one, but Brenna all over it, just like she has been early in this game. Only 1 goal, and we're approaching the 15-minute mark. Jane Muller in the clear, got the pass from Megan Muller, her older sister, senior to freshman. Warriors off to the races. Laurel Black coming down the left wing. Stops at the 10, and she'll reset the offense. Solar up top. There's that patented split dodge. Runs right in the middle, and once again, Patrick, a foul because the freight train Caroline Solar. She just brings so much to this offense because, like I said, she's running through you or you're fouling her, and if you triple team her, she's just as good as an unselfish passer as anyone else on this team.
Yellow card issued on the play.
She draws so much attention that it's almost unfair.
Absolutely.
From the top of the 8, this will be Caroline Solar from the free.
Caroline with the best angle possible for a free shot. We'll see if Ella Shemak can make a massive save because the Comets need one here. Solar inside, bounce shot, it's wide. Warriors retain possession from Sarah Comer's backup. It's a rare miss from Caroline. Kuwach to Lucy Lysett. One more to the cutting Solar. Back of the net, it's good. Warriors lead 5-1. Exquisite ball movement.
Puts one in the upper corner.
Totally agree. This
a
team,
Warrior goal.
If it's not nice, though, they're constantly
Mariemont
moving
on
the ball.
top
They're
of
not letting
Mason,
it die in their stick.
5-1 with 14 minutes remaining in the half.
Yeah, I mean, there's some girls on this team that don't stuff the stat sheet, as Mason calls a timeout, and that is what we like to call a punch in the mouth off the get-go from Mariemont. 5-1 in the opening minutes of this first half, and either way, isolation, ball movement, they're doing it all, and they're playing really good defense while doing all that at the same time.
Our Staying Loudly ALS fundraiser.
What I was saying is, it just seems like some of these girls on the team, there's Caroline, who's just going to load the stat sheet, Sarah Comer, like you talked about, that 90-mile-an-hour shot that Kevin Ferry talks about, but some girls like Lainey Rippertella at attack, and Laurel Black, even a sophomore contributing, they move the ball so fast to know their role to where it really makes the offense flow, because you can have a ton of great players, as you know the game very well, Patrick, and still not be successful if they're not unselfish too.
I totally agree with that. On both boys and girls lacrosse at Mariemont, I think it's very important that everyone recognizes their roles and plays to their skills and helps out everyone. And yeah, I think it's very important to play your game.
Absolutely. I mean, you're an East Coast guy, born and raised pretty much. You moved to Mariemont a couple of years ago, but what would you say the biggest difference is, if you could find one, between that style of kind of like original lacrosse there, where they're like the inventors of it and claim to be the best lacrosse on the East Coast? I don't think that's really a claim. I think it's just the truth. To now Ohio, Midwest, which is a good lacrosse state, I would argue, but not nearly what the East Coast brings.
Yeah, so honestly, the biggest difference is I feel like while teams out here are very talented and well-rounded, a lot of teams in New Jersey have Division I commits at all levels, freshman, sophomore, like 5 stars on their team. It's a different game, while at the same time there is pretty level playing field.
Absolutely. And I think that's where your point earlier was just spot on, where knowing your role, because at Mariemont, compared to Mason, look at the class size. I mean, I don't really even know what Mason's class size is, but I would argue it's at least 4 times Mariemont's 150 kids a grade. So,
oh, yeah.
I mean, that'd be saying, what, 4 times 500 total. Mason, 2,000 kids. I'm not sure if it's that big, or maybe we're way off, but just the fact that Mariemont can produce such good athletes who really do their job, and kicking
It'll be
Mason
Caroline Solar on the draw
early
for
so
the
far,
Warriors.
5-1, and we're going to get back to the draw after the Comets timeout. We'll see if them talking it over is going to get them back on track.
In large part, I think you can credit a lot of success to both coaching staffs, with Kevin Ferry, a recent inductee to the Ohio High School Lacrosse Hall of Fame, and Coach Steve Peterson is also a member of the Ohio High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lydia Glinsky goes to Mahoney up top. Feed inside the lefty. Another save for Brenna O'Brien right on the doorstop.
Shot by the Comets again, saved by
Not in her
O'Brien.
kitchen.
Brenna's doing her thing. Great clearing pass from Jane Muller. Lucy Lysett, the senior, off to the races, looking for someone to pass it to, and she's just going to slow it down at about the 15-yard line. Brenna has been an absolute warrior back there early. Talked to Brenna. She was pretty frustrated with her performance after that Indian Hill game, but it was just like they had some incredible shooters, that Braves team, shooting rockets, a lot like the Sarah Comer shot we saw earlier. And in girls lacrosse, goalies just always get the short end of the stick because every shot is about 5 yards and in on them. There's just no human that has the reaction time to actually save it without guessing. And Piper George, once again, cutting through the defense and scoring in the bottom left corner. Warriors lead 6-1.
Able to knock in a low goal, putting the Warriors on top, 6-1.
That was a great goal by Piper. Defense took a bit of a poor angle, but nothing you can really do when you have top-end speed like Piper George.
Yeah, they're talking it over right now at that Mason defense. What do you think they're talking about? Just better approach angle, like you just said?
Definitely better approach angle. And I don't think you can let girls like Sarah Comer, Piper George, and Caroline Solar keep the ball in their stick. They're lethal with the ball in their stick.
So Patrick, we have such a wonderful statistician with us in the press box today. We have word that the Mason school is approximately 3,700 kids. Shout out to my grandmother who's watching for texting me that. But a school with 3,700 kids, let's just say half and half, girls and boys. I mean, that's just wild that Mariemont can play with a school like this. And it's not a shot at Mason, because obviously they can hang around. They're 10th in the state in Division I. It's just how well these girls are coached by Kevin Ferry, Dan Telkamp, Dan George, everyone involved on this coaching staff. And then, of course, the girls, they put in the effort.
Yeah, they want it real bad. You could see it at Carter Fitness during the off-season. Almost every day they're there working hard.
Glinsky runs over Lucy Lysett.
Blocking called.
Blocking foul on the Warriors. She'll get it at the 5-yard line. O'Brien directing traffic. Didn't want that cutter to catch it. Pretty good feed in there, just mishandled by the Comet cutter. Mason's getting it around. Here's Benzinger trying to go on Solar herself. She rethinks that decision.
Yeah, that's a tall task to get around Caroline.
Great feed inside and a kick save by Brenna O'Brien. Might as well just fill that cage with bricks because Brenna is making the save with the stick, the arm, and now the leg. She shot that one out. Pure reflexes there. What a save by the junior goalkeeper. Here's Charlotte Solar, first time we've seen her today. The freshman, Caroline Solar.
Sister duo on the team.
Yeah, that's a lethal duo. It's too bad they're 4 years apart, or they could play another year together. Solar, back of the net, feed from Sarah Comer. That is something we've seen about a million times the last 3 years. And the Warriors now lead 7-1 with 10:59 remaining in the first half. This is just very impressive. A big day for the Warriors. We talked about it in the open, playing for a lot more, so added pressure against a Division I opponent. And Patrick, what's been the key for them so far?
The key is, honestly, the attackmen are moving with their eyes up, observing the field, reading the defense, and it's paid off tremendously. with the cutters and all the movement.
I just love how unselfish this team is. No one is looking for their own goal. We call that goal hungry. There isn't a single girl on this team that you can say is goal hungry. They all want to make that one more pass to give up a good shot for a great shot. And I think that's exactly what this coaching staff has been preaching for years. That's why they've been 39-4 in the last 2 seasons.
Oh, I totally agree.
Hipper George going for the ground ball. She's fouled. It's going to be Warrior ball. Solar picks it up, gives it back to George, and we'll restart at the 10:45 mark. Solar, middle of the field, pass inside to Kuwat, shot just over the top of the cage. That was a very athletic catch by Cece Kuwat. She's a pretty tall girl using that frame, jumping to go get the Solar feed. That's just something that not every team has the luxury of doing. Comer to Solar, has it in the left. She goes into the defender. One more. Comer runs right at the defender, and that's what you were talking about earlier, shooting space call.
Yeah, and you can see she was eager to shoot that from far because she does have quite power on her shot.
All right, now this is the one to look out for. This girl has the hardest shot on the team. She already has it in a shooting position. And I blinked and missed that one. Top shelf for Sarah Comer. Warriors lead 8-1.
8-1.
Wow.
Was that sidearm?
It was. You only really see that on ESPN at the Division I level for some of these girls because the pocket is so shallow.
Yeah, you don't have enough hold for that. Wow, that was very impressive. You can see her wind up with that.
I mean, that's a shot that she's just so comfortable taking. Some guys go sidearm on our team that have no business going sidearm, Patrick. And she has every right to do that. Top corner. She knew where it was going with velocity. 8-1. So Patrick, like you mentioned in the open for the people just tuning in now, about midway through the first half, today is a staying loudly game for Sam Telkamp. She was diagnosed with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, in May of 2022. Very tragic for anybody, but especially at the unusual age of 25 years old. Sam gave up her dream job, returned home, and just in short time there's been many challenges and changes. Sam's courageous, brave, and you can hear her determination in her own words. Here were her quotes. "I was extremely comforted by the fact that I would be moving home to a family and community who not only knew that I was about to go through, but would accept me with open arms. I attribute a lot of this to Graham Harden's G-Force movement." If you guys aren't familiar with that, Graham Harden, another Mariemont resident who passed away to ALS a couple years ago, and the whole G-Force movement was so incredible for Graham Harden and his family, just inspiring everybody. But Graham's willingness to share his life with so many of us inspired Sam. When Coach put his stick down in the battle against ALS, Sam picked it up. She said, "Game on, Coach, put me in, and I'm staying loudly. I'm incredibly thankful and grateful to have you all on our team." Quote, Sam Telkamp. So if you want to know why the Warriors are dominating right now, I think the girl at the end of the bench right now has an extreme impact on this hot start. Mason coming down quickly. That's Mahoney trying to do it by herself. The freshman Muller strips it from her, but she is going to be booked for a foul on the play.
Illegal check called on the Warriors.
There's something to be said about this community. We rally around each other and support each other, and there's no shock there that this community is rallying around Sam Telkamp.
And Brenna O'Brien is rallying her defense and probably should be chewing them out because she is saving this Warriors defensive front all by herself. Back-to-back stuffs. Another one, Patrick. What is going on? 51 in the net is putting on a show. The Mason frustration gets to him there as Emmy Tepe is hacked, trying to get the ball back to Brenna. Oh my goodness.
That was incredible.
It was like 3 or 4 saves in a row right on the doorstep.
And you as a goalie, you know especially how challenging that is right on the doorstep.
There's nothing scarier than playing against a hot goalie, and the Warriors don't only have a hot goalie, they have a hot team. Another goal, and everybody should be looking back at 51 on the other side of the field, because what a plays save from O'Brien, gets him out in transition, bang, bang, play, and just like that, Anna Morgan sticks it in the back of the net.
That's just a display of the unselfishness this team possesses. Right, Anna Morgan cutting down the field, wide open, dish, goal.
We may have our first ever ICRC Mariemont Lacrosse Sports Center top 10.
Oh, totally.
Brenna may not look very big in the cage.
She's filled it incredibly.
When you're a goalie and you're hot, it just feels like you kind of know where it's going before they even shoot it. And it felt like she had already made the save on that last one that we set up perfectly.
As Coach P says, you never want to play a hot goalie.
Yeah, Mason is getting the raw side of that one. Warriors lead 9-1, 7 minutes to go in the first half. But I will say for the comments on the something to be inspired about, although you're down 8 goals early, is they're getting very good looks. They're just not converting right now because of a great goalie play. George rolling the cage. Nothing there. Finds CC Kuwach. She might have this dance. Flips it to Solar. A little bit of a tricky, fancy play. Solar into the defense, sliding, and the foul. 10-1 Warriors lead. Caroline Solar isn't waiting for the whistle. She's playing through it and scoring.
She's incredible. Everything almost seems like a highlight play.
Goal for the Warriors, Caroline Solar.
And she never stops. Endurance is just not something you have to worry about with Caroline Solar.
Even if it's 100 degrees, she'll be running up, down, and up the field all game long.
She has bodies dropping with her. Girls just hanging on to her. And she's the first one up after putting in the back of the net. She's going to get a chance to catch her breath on the sideline for the first time all day. But that's why she's playing at the next level. Patrick, believe it or not, Caroline Solar is actually on the track team at Mariemont and participates in 2 fall sports just to continue to get into better shape to prepare for her freshman lacrosse season coming up next year at the Division I level.
Oh!
Yard sale by Piper George, knocking it away from Mahoney. Oh my goodness, Piper. That's just one in it right there, Patrick.
Unexpected, considering she's an strictly offensive player, but what a check.
Charlotte Solar up top, filling in for her sister as she's getting a break. Finds Lysa in the middle. Unable to catch it is Lucy Lysa. Piper George has her back, going through about 4 defenders and puts it in the back of the net. I feel like I've said that 100 times, and that's actually the 11th time I've said that. And we're not even finished or remotely finished with the first half. Still about 6 minutes left. Mariemont bringing the heat early on an early start to this Saturday.
How many goals is that now for Piper? Is that 3 or 4?
I know Comer has 2. It's pretty much impossible to count how many goals Caroline Solar has, so I'm not going to try and do that. But
it's goal after goal for her.
I mean, let's not forget, that goal from Piper only happened. Mason had possession after the faceoff, and she came from the back door and stripped Mahoney, not only knocking the ball out of her stick, but also knocking the stick out of her hands. Mason has a chance to get one back here. They finally have the ball. Mariemont's done a lot better on the draws, unlike the opening couple minutes of this game. They continue to look for that feed inside that's been there a lot. Here's Mahoney trying to dance on Kaiser, gets into the middle, and that's a foul. Going to be a free shot for the star Comet, Ava Mahoney. Let's see if Brenna stays hot. Mahoney
Oh
inside.
my gosh.
Mahoney with
Is that
the
a
shot.
save?
That was another save.
Blocked.
Kick save.
By
Oh my
O'Brien.
goodness.
Comets will retain possession.
Brenna is having a day.
You can just tell she's locked in. She's jumping up and down in there. She's fired up. She's banging the pipe with her stick with velocity. Here's Flynn. She's going to dodge on Lucy Lysett. Double team comes with Charlotte Solar. Flynn trying to work around multiple defenders, but this is just excellent team defense from the Lady Warriors. Galinsky rolling the cage. Has a girl inside, just over, and it's going to be Warrior ball after a great backup.
I believe that shot was taken by Hellman.
Great
Muller.
backup, but also got to acknowledge that was a great look by
Broken up by Warrior defender.
Lila Galinsky.
Mason's getting the looks. They're just not converting right now. A lot of it is credit Brenna O'Brien, but missing a wide open cage in front of it is the last thing you want to do because it doesn't even give you a chance. If Brenna makes the save, then you can kind of live with it.
Yeah.
But if you go deep, here's Flynn. I'm sure she's had enough
I
of
mean,
this.
they've had the looks, they're just not falling, and that's largely credited to Brenna.
Oh my goodness, Brenna
Shot
stuffs
by
Mahoney,
Ava Mahoney.
once again. Super nice play by Ava Mahoney, though. Threw a fake pass to the middle and just took it herself.
How many saves is that?
I think she's definitely in the double-digit mark
Oh,
in the
already,
first half.
for sure.
This could be an all-time Brenna O'Brien performance, all-time Mariemont goalkeeper performance, boys or girls.
Just about to say that. She's had an incredible game.
Got to give a shout-out to the girls' goalie coach, Dan George. He's at the end of the bench for the Lady Warriors. He helps out the boys sometimes. Patrick, you mentioned I play goalie. Just a super unselfish guy. His daughter Piper's on the team, and he doesn't work with the offense. He doesn't try to get involved. He's just a genius at coaching kids in between the pipes. He played himself. He was born and raised in Connecticut, like you, kind of an East Coast. There's the Warrior bench, and they celebrate another Warrior goal. Was that Piper George, Patrick?
That indeed
Finds
was.
the upper
She has
corner
been
and the back of the net
unstoppable this
for
half.
Warrior goal.
She's making the Mason defense look silly out there.
12-1 with 2 minutes running clock now. Interesting. Ella Shemak not getting too much help from her defense, but even on the outside shots, the Warriors shooters are snipers.
Is a running clock 11, girls? Or?
Whatever it is, it's on.
Yeah. They've had an incredible game.
10 goals is a running clock. Our statistician coming in clutch from the truck. Shout out to ICRC producing the game today, giving kids like me and Patrick a chance to call this game. Terrific camera work from everyone else involved. 12-1, about 90 seconds left in the first half of play, and another procedure on the draw. I think we're going to do it again.
Unlike the game, it seems like the Comets have had their way at the face-off. Or the draw.
Right.
Sorry.
It's a super interesting draw. I'd love to, maybe do that one time. I feel like you would have no idea where it's going to go if you're just throwing it up there, and some girls have such control over it. Here's Galinsky going right into the heart of the Warrior defense. Rethinks that decision once Megan Muller gets on her hands, and the Comets are forced to reset and try and get one in the final minutes, just trying to go into the locker room with some sort of momentum offensively.
Yeah, it seems like this offense is starting to speed up as time is running out.
Galinsky on the wing. They're going to get it to their superstar Flynn, potentially a right-hand dodge down the alley. Flynn's going to set a pick. It's just team defense. The Warriors don't play man-to-man. They just step up, and they know exactly how to rotate in their spots, causing all kinds of trouble for this Mason team.
Yeah, this almost seems like the final push before half, before they go into a pretty disappointing and unexpected halftime score.
10 seconds remain. 9, 8,
Hellman
7,
finds Flynn, guarded
6,
by Solar.
5.
Great
Whoa.
save by Brenna
3,
O'Brien right off the
2,
left shoulder.
1.
And no better way to end the first half than the
Comet
story
shot
of the first
taken by
half.
number 7,
Brenna
Peyton Flynn.
O'Brien playing the game of the year,
believe that may
not
have
just
been
in the
another save
cage,
by
potentially for the
O'Brien with
entire
the help of the
Mariemont
post.
lacrosse team. an organization.
As you all know,
Brent O'Brien playing out of her mind. 12 goals in the first half for the Warriors. Patrick, what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is this offense playing with their heads up, eyes forward. But honestly, it's Brent O'Brien. It's been Brent O'Brien. She's taken control of this game, and in large part, she's the reason the score is 12-1.
We're going to send you guys off to commercial break. We'll be back with the second half of play, but we recommend you stick around. There may be some halftime activities for the Staying Loudly game and Sam Telkamp. Today is her day today, like we've mentioned multiple times, in support of her battling ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. So thank you guys. A great first half here in Mariemont. Warriors lead 12-1.
You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Win! Comets win! Yeah!
Across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, helping solve child hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Titans go! When the Teen Titans go to the movies, they know the best way to travel is safely. To keep your child safe, be sure to use the right car seat for their age and size.
Exactly.
Hollywood, here we come! The Atom has arrived!
Have a seat, my dude. For more information on finding the right seat, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Impressive.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hello everyone and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
Across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, helping solve child hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
There's no better feeling than to be a part of a fire department. This is a family.
Police officer, it's a great job. It really is. You never know what you're going to get. You never know who you're going to help.
We're forgetting what's going on outside. We're focusing on what's going on in here, and we're all family.
This idea of a family academy, connecting families to talk about relevant issues.
Unbelievable. Milford has stormed all the way back in this football game. The Warriors in the state finals! State finals! Ohio Wesleyan, here we go!
And it's up to every one of you all to keep this going and carry the torch. I hope you will do that. Thank you.
ICRC-TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! In for the Comets score. Comets win! Yeah!
Across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, helping solve child hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Hello everybody and welcome back for the second half of play of Mariemont Warriors versus Mason Comets Lacrosse. Thus far it has been a Warriors smackdown. The Lady Warriors lead 12-1 as we're about to start the second half alongside Patrick Sweeney. I'm Luke Brenham, and if you're just now joining us, and Patrick, they say it can be a tale of two halves, but from the first half, what are your biggest takeaways?
My biggest takeaway is Mariemont needs to keep their foot on the pedal, keep going with this intensity, keep these offensive looks going, and honestly, Brynna O'Brien, she's just doing her thing, and I think that if that continues, I think it'll look real bad for Mason. And Mason, really, they've had the looks, they just need to start converting and playing some better defense.
Playing on the draw.
Yeah, the goalie play has been elite for the Warriors with 51 in between the pipes, but a new half, 25 minutes, a lot can happen. The Warriors start with an opening draw win, and they'll get it to CC Kuwach, who swings it over to Piper George to get the second half started. This Mason defense needs to play better, D. I mean, if Mariemont scores 12 goals again in this first half, it's tough to win if you give up 20 plus, let alone 24.
I mean, as Mariemont, we saw it last year, the girls were down by a lot in the state championship and came back right away, so I would not rule it out yet.
Absolutely. We talked about Mason, they have the scores, they have the athletes. They got to play better defense and then convert.
On the play, this will be Lyset on the restart.
In large part, I just think the defense can't let them get around him. In the first half, it was all about the offense just running around them, and it wasn't very contested at all.
There's a good start for the Comets defense. They turn the Warriors over, and off to the races is Mason. Showing off this speed is Claire Benzinger. She gets it to Lexi Allen. And the Comets look to strike first in the second half of play. Here's Benzinger. Julia Ryder dumps it down below to Mahoney. They get it to Glinsky. Inside, there's going to be a foul, and she's going to have a free shot. Stick to the head. Penalty on Emmy Tepe.
Head contact.
She's going to come off the field.
Yellow card issued. Mariemont will
Yellow
be
card
a player
issued.
down.
Free shot here. This is for Glinsky. It would be a big one to just get any momentum going for this Mason team.
Comments from
Patrick, make a prediction,
position.
goal or no goal?
At Brynna O'Brien's save rate, no goal.
Glinsky, back of the net, nice little bouncer.
That was number
the Warrior
14
defense
for
couldn't
the
get there in
Comets.
time to even give Brenna
Lila
a chance,
Glinsky.
but 12-2. Clock is still running. The Warriors
Glinsky
did earn
from
a
the
running
free
clock in the
position
first
with
half,
the
but
goal.
good start for Mason. Good to see them come out competitive. They're ready to play. Their
Comets
bench was fired up
open
before
up
we
the scoring in
started.
the second
We
half.
faced off a couple minutes ago, and they strike first.
That penalty also wasn't a horrible penalty. It was more of a hustle penalty. You can't let Glinsky walk to the crease and get an easy dump on Brynna.
Yeah, like you said, Mariemont, they need to keep the foot on the gas. The worst thing to do is to play a really good first half, be in high spirits, and then end up winning the game but not playing good second half because it kind of feels like you lost. When you head in the locker room if you're frustrated. Super athletic play by Glinsky, though, to corral that draw. And Mason once again in Warrior territory early on, trying to cut this into single digits. I've not seen a lot from Flynn today, Patrick. The Temple commit, she's yet to score. She needs to get going. A foul on Mariemont.
There hasn't been much from her, and it almost seems like that offense relies on her.
Called on the Warriors.
All right, it's going to be Claire Benzinger with the free shot this time.
From the free position, this is Claire Benzinger.
Center of the field, great angle. O'Brien looks ready. She goes in, off the mark. Potentially a kick save from that right leg flaring out from Brenna, but it looked wide to me.
Shot blocked by O'Brien.
I think we're going to credit the save to Brenna. I mean, just add that to the list.
O'Brien with another save.
At this point, she's making it look so effortlessly that I can't even tell if she's saving it or not. It feels like everything is ricocheting off her stick, her body, her helmet, her foot.
It's a world-class performance.
George up the field, showing off the speed, just blowing by Comet after Comet. And they just need to relax, get the best look. They have plenty of time, a running clock. And the best way to do that is probably to get it into these two girls' hands here, 33 and 38, Sarah Comer and Caroline Solar. It's interesting, Patrick. So every single girl on this Warriors offensive unit right now, outside of Laurel Black behind the cage, is a senior. How much do you think that will help them when they head into the postseason and second half of the regular season?
Oh, that'll definitely help them. As the postseason requires a lot of experience, and with two or three state champions in a row, they are very.
If you take a look at the bottom of the Mason bench, if you want to know how competitive, Piper going wide open. Shemak never stood a chance. George goal. But I was pointing out to you, Ava Mahoney, 33 for Mason, goes over to the bench to talk to her coach. And Jane Muller goes right with her to listen to what the coach is saying. Completely legal play. Some people consider it petty. I think that's just one in it. And Mahoney looked really mad and kind of gave Muller, the freshman, a bump out of the way because she was frustrated. And Jane Muller stood right there. But nevertheless, that's just all frustration from this dominant Mariemont performance, up 13-2. And just staying competitive like that out of someone like Muller, just a freshman on this team, proves why they're so good and can play with anybody no matter what division. Mariemont ball on the restart. Here's Lainey Ripertella.
For Piper George, it just seems like ground ball after ground ball. This second half, it's been a completely different story. They've really controlled the draw, and it's what has been hurting Mason for sure.
George misses over top. Pretty good play by Shemak. She got out of the cage, got off the pipe, and got really big because it was just a straight-up one-on-one with George. Solar from the pass from Comer. Could have been a foul there. Solar threw about 5 Mason defenders. She misses the shot, but this time she's going to get a free shot after getting bumped. Caroline Solar just always drawing attention, Patrick.
This will be Caroline Solar from the 8.
Solar, top right corner. You can hear the
Solar
ping of the pipe. 33 with about her 10th goal today, it feels like. Warriors lead 14-2 now. Clock continues to run.
Caroline
they never
Solar
let up.
From the free
yeah,
position.
like you said, she demands attention, and when she's not giving the attention, she will take advantage of it and make you pay.
You just can never sleep on this team. They have multiple athletes that can clear the ball the entire way. They have a defense that is strong, confident. Although their defense is the youngest part of their team, it's still really good. And then when you have a goalie playing the way Brenna O'Brien's playing, I don't care if this is Division I in Maryland, you're always in a game with a hot goalie and a team that can score 14 goals at the 19-minute mark of the second half.
Totally, and the bench provides a lot of depth for the Mariemont Warriors, and it's proven.
Absolutely. Mahoney with a ground ball. She's going to go down the middle herself. A little bit of a slow break here. Galinsky going right into the heart of the defense. Spin move. He rethinks that decision. Has the ball stripped from her by Lucy Lysit. Warriors flying around the field. Ball's up for grabs. Good ground ball there from the Comets. And they let everybody catch their breath.
They're really swarming the ball in this defense. They're denying everything. Not making it easy for this Comets offense.
Here's one of our players to watch, Ava Mahoney. I'm going to get a blocking foul on Lucy Lysit. I actually thought that was pretty good defense. Mahoney looked to go right into her. But nevertheless, 33 is going to get a look here. O'Brien ready to go. Comets looking to respond after back-to-back Warrior goals.
Position. Going to be number
top right.
Number 33,
great goal
Ava
there.
Mahoney with the goal.
By Ava Mahoney.
Mahoney from the free.
Mahoney appears to be their only source of offense right now. And honestly, everyone else needs to pick it up and help her out.
Yeah, she is a captain for this team, but like we talked about earlier,
regarding our
with
fundraiser for
Flynn
ALS, the Ice
going
Bucket
to play at the next
Challenge
level next year,
fundraiser.
Peyton Flynn, the senior,
We'll
going to Temple.
close
I think that she
at
still
the
has
10-minute mark
a
left
few more
in the
words to
game,
say
as
before she
we'll
leaves
split the
Mariemont
pot.
this afternoon. She hasn't been too much of an impact.
You have
She's
7
probably
minutes.
worn herself out taking every single draw for
Get
them.
into those pockets
But
one
either
more
way,
time.
I would not be
Pick
surprised
your
if she
favorite
nets a
senior that
few
you'd
in the
like to
second
see in
half.
the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Absolutely, and Ava Mahoney is
And
leading by
also
example
purchase
as she's
raffles for
captain.
the Split the Pot. Again, that will close 10 minutes left in the game. Both drawings will be immediately following the contest. Please stick around.
So, Patrick, like we've been
And we
talking about
appreciate your
all
support.
day, today is way bigger than lacrosse. It's a staying loudly game. We brought up Sam Telkamp and her battle with ALS being 25 years young. Just absolutely tragic disease at that age. We are all here for Sam, not just in the Mariemont community, but all over. So if you guys are listening, no matter where you are, Patrick, some ways to donate to the Telkamp family that would just really be appreciative of anything that you guys could help out with, because ALS just such a grueling battle, obviously physically, mentally, and financially, as Ava Morgan sticks in her second goal.
Piper George.
Yeah, so if you would
with
like
the
to donate,
assist
you can mail a
finds
check to the Samantha
Anna Morgan in the
Telkamp
middle
Family
for
Trust
the goal.
at
Anna Morgan with the
7439
goal,
Worcester Pike,
assisted by
or,
Piper
Box
George.
117, Cincinnati, Ohio. The zip code is 45227. You can also donate by credit, SinFed Credit Union, and a tax-deductible donation can be made online by credit card through Hark ALS, a 501c3 app.
Very complicated stuff here.
Link.
So you can also follow Sam's journey at stayingloudly.com or stayingloudly.wordpress.com/blog. The financial needs for a disease like this are just overwhelming. As Mason wins the draw, we're fundraising to help Sam live her best life, make tons of memories, and giving Sam the opportunity to share her story while advocating for others with ALS, because something like this with no cure, it's just so hard to, finance it. The hope is limited, but this community, like you talked about, is just so good at rallying around people. Obviously, the late Graham Harden, just an absolute legend with the legacy he has left here, both as a coach and a community member. Mason off the bar, Brenna O'Brien corrals, and the Warriors will clear. But Sam Telkamp, obviously her dad Dan has been in the lacrosse program helping out girls for over a decade at Mariemont, a terrific coach, even better guy. And this girls team is playing for Sam and definitely staying loud today. Comer down the sideline, fouled by Mahoney. And they'll restart it, but they're going to back her up.
Yeah, this team is definitely something special for Coach Dan Telkamp, as he was their coach in 7th and 8th grade
Horizontal stick
junior
called.
high program, and he has followed them since to the varsity level.
Yeah, just a great coaching staff overall. Comer showing her frustration, getting bumped by these Mason girls. Looks like number 8 there, Miss Ellie Petrie, is going to get booked with a yellow card, getting too physical with Sarah. A little bit of down 12 frustration going with only 3 goals. So definitely understandable, but like we were saying, the coaching staff for the Warriors, whether it's Dan, Kevin Ferry, Dan George, Sam, she's there at nearly every single game on the end of the sideline. That's just something that all these girls respect, look up to, and really just every single one of those people, terrific mentors because they're great lacrosse minds and even better people, and that's just this entire Mariemont lacrosse community. Here's Anna Morgan. She's having a heck of a game today.
Totally, and you can tell that this is bigger than just lacrosse with the whole team rallying around Sam.
Comer with a sharp pass down to the corner finds Hadley Dickinson.
How about that feed from Sarah Comer into the lefty Hadley Dickinson?
Goal by
Dickinson
Mariemont.
coming off the
Hadley
bench,
Dickinson
instant
by
impact,
Comer.
Patrick. You talked about it earlier. Here's another look at it.
Yeah, Hadley and the entire junior, sophomore class and freshman class just provide so much depth for this team that it's almost like seems like they can compete with anyone in Ohio. Honestly, anyone in the tri-state area.
Yeah, Hadley coming around the corner there, and she's begging for the ball. That just shows confidence for someone who swings on JV and varsity to come into the second half against a Division I opponent who is top 10 in the state. And she's just instant impact. That's what the boys team, one of our mottos is, Patrick, interchangeable parts. And the Lady Warriors do it a whole lot better than us, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. They're demanding the ball out here. They want it. And it's pretty inevitable that they want it. They want it more than Mason does right now. And you can see that in the score, 16-3.
Emma Dorston, number 20 for the Warriors, into the game. Cutter, Lysett, another one. Solar, ball, movement, perfection, goal. Warriors
Nice
lead
movement
17-3. How pretty was that?
They made that look
Lucy
easy.
Lysett
They did that without
Caroline
lifting a
Solar
finger.
with the goal assisted.
You don't even have to
by
call for the
Lysett.
ball. The girls just know where they're going to be, and it's on the money every time. Never a drop, never a skill issue.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Coach Ferry is just teaching these girls so well to keep their eyes up and recognize the cutters, and it's so clear, especially on that play.
It's like we have some issues right now with the referee. I don't know what she's doing over here, but gives us a time, probably a second for Mason to think it over on the sideline. I mean, Mariemont never stops going. Caroline Solar's not going to come off for a face-off. Patrick, do you know what's happening on the sideline over here?
It seems like they're forcing Mr. Spooner down the sideline. Very unusual. I've never actually seen that happen.
Too much media here. We got to
Yeah.
get him off the sidelines. Shout out to Mr. Spooner, always taking pictures for Mariemont Athletics. You can check him out at mariemontstuff.com. Great with the camera in his hand.
He takes incredible photos, and I really wonder why they are forcing him down behind the end line.
Yeah, all due respect to the girls, but I don't see too many shots going at the 25-yard line near the Mason bench. But anyway, Lainey Rippertella on the move for the Warriors. She goes into the middle, backs it out, accelerates a little bit, and we'll start the offensive set with about 11:20 to go in the second half of play. Katie Whitmore, the sophomore, now in. Here's Dickinson, the southpaw, behind the cage. A little bit of a weird pass dropped by Hadley, and it's a turnover. They'll get it to Shemak. Ella looking for someone to clear it to. The Warrior ride is definitely on. Finds Mahoney in the middle of the field. Very good pass and catch on the run.
Something both teams have done well all game is they're demanding the ball. They want it, and yeah.
Wow, what a feed.
Oh, what a stop by Brenna.
And O'Brien makes another save. It's just been a spoiler party. A lot of really good passes on great plays for the Comets. And Brenna O'Brien is right there to say, hey, all of that stuff looks good, and it's nice, and it gets the crowd excited, but I'm just going to stuff you right on the cage, and you have nothing to show for. And that's been the story of the day. I've never seen 3 goals in a girls lacrosse game. The way this is going, it's probably going to finish at 3 or maybe sub 5 at least.
Oh, definitely.
Rippertella, a little bit of an isolation, cuts it across her face. Smart decision to back it out. Clock's running, no need to force it.
Yeah, honestly, this blowout is entirely unexpected as Mason came into the game as the favorite, ranked 15 in the state, and Mariemont not far behind at 16, but really unexpected.
How about that defensive play by a new face? Minogue makes a play for Mason, but they give it right back. Rippertella, Flynn behind her. Rippertella's fouled by Flynn. A little bit of a sloppy second half compared to the first, but we're getting new parts in here, new faces, a lot of younger athletes for both teams, coaches getting them reps in a game that the final decision is pretty much decided.
Absolutely. It's not much of a contest anymore. As you can see, Mariemont Warriors have subbed in a lot of the swing players, giving them some experience that is so incredibly valuable, especially at the varsity level.
Yeah, Mariemont's going to lose 9 seniors this year, but I think they're going to be just fine because the JV team, we saw them dominate Mason's JV earlier. We have freshmen in varsity games like Emma Dorston right now. We talked about Jane Muller, been a starter all year at defense. There's a Warrior goal for Emma Dorston right on cue. The freshman now in the stat column. They're just an elite team. They've gone back-to-back state titles. Back-to-back-to-back is more than in play for this Lady Warrior team.
It's unheard of.
I think they're going to do it too, but the Indian Hill loss is a little scary, I will say that.
Especially with them being an interdivision rival. It's definitely a tall task for them coming ahead as the road is unknown.
I don't know what Columbus, Toledo, Cleveland looks like, but really for Mariemont should be focusing on getting out of the region, like you said, because state title games, that's a regional title game, because both those teams are so good that it feels like whoever's going to win is going to really compete for the chance at number 1 in the state.
Totally. I don't think Bishop Watterson presents much of a threat to the Warriors right now, just especially as they lost a key player to Ohio State. But yeah. I think the key is focusing on the present right now.
Flynn, full speed, feed inside of the lefty, foul on Mariemont.
Shooting space called.
Shooting space, and now we get a look at the Division I commit going to Temple next year. Peyton Flynn on the free shot. O'Brien, she goes into the middle, sweeps it around O'Brien with a little bit of like an underhand wrist shot. That was very pretty from Peyton Flynn. That's why she's playing at the next level.
Yeah, that was an awesome shovel shot right there.
Back on the board, under 7 minutes remaining.
We've seen a lot of the Stars today do this method right here, Patrick, where they don't shoot it off rip like Comer does with the cannon that she has. Just run right at the goalie, get the best angle possible, and leave no doubt by just putting it in the net themselves.
Yeah. She also just completely embraced the contact there and just took it herself and demanded there.
Take a look at the top left corner of that shot right there. You can see the Mariemont student section flooded with students here. The entire boys lacrosse team, both JV and varsity, in support of the Lady Warriors, but also everyone here in support of the Staying Loudly game and Sam Telkamp. Such a big day today, an even bigger win. There's the boys lacrosse team coming off a win last night. Patrick, you and I both play. Beat Turpin, won the battle
for the paddle.
The paddle stays at Mariemont. Little bit of a rivalry between Turpin and Mariemont. And it's been somewhat one-sided, I will argue. Mariemont only losing 3 times in at least 30 or 40 matchups, but either way, always fun every year. We got the win last night, and the girls look to have an even bigger win today by more and against a really good Division I opponent. Mahoney with the free shot.
From the free position, this is number 33, Ava Mahoney.
Ava Mahoney, perfect placement. I mean, Brenna O'Brien could not get there unless she kicked that one.
5 minutes remaining in the contest. Again, as a reminder, please stick around immediately following the game. We will have the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Peyton Flynn has seemed to really turn on this half.
Winners announced.
She's kind of,
Based
as
on
of
the
late, she's been
raffle
dominating,
ticket
and there hasn't been anyone on Mariemont that
the
has seemed
announcement
to
of
be
the
able to
Split the
stop
Pot
her,
winner.
and including Bryn O'Brien after that excellent, some may even say immaculate first half.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't think I have a good enough vocabulary to describe that first half.
Yeah, no. That one goal she let in was just that. I don't know if you can entirely blame that on her, as it was doorstep.
Yeah, and it was after a kind of a combat save right on the crease that hit off her stick, and then someone else just picked it up and shot it around her.
Yeah, that was an incredible save.
$420. That is a good size split the pot. Thanks so much for your support.
Here's Flynn after a procedure on the draw. She cuts into the defense, puts in her right hand. This is a scary sight right here for any defense. She's fouled and will get a free shot. So Mason, too little, too late, but they may leave with some confidence. We saw Mahoney just stick one. Now Flynn a chance to get her second of the day after scoring a couple minutes
Illegal
ago.
check on the Warriors.
Perfect position to make this a 12-goal game. Clock continues to run because the running clock with the Warriors' massive lead. Here's Flynn. High bouncer, very good shot around Brenna O'Brien, stick side low. That one bounced almost into the top corner. But Warriors still lead 18-6. Good second half showing from Mason, however.
Peyton Flynn has really seemed to be taking control this half and dominating. She's had 3 goals in the past 5 minutes. Pretty incredible, and this is quite the gut check for Mason as we head late into the season and the team starts to make a postseason push.
Yeah, one thing that you don't want to do at this time in the season is have a loss. This is very defeating for Mason, going on the road, 45 to an hour bus ride on a Saturday, and just to get demolished like this. But on a better note, they haven't quit, Patrick, because if you see quit in the team, that's stuff that will last the rest of the week or going into a new week, going into the month, going into the postseason. And they're still playing. The crowd's still into it. We're now under 3 minutes. Here's Mahoney. I'm sure they're just trying to win the second half.
Yeah, and this score has really shown the character of Mason and their willingness to not quit and determination.
And Brenna O'Brien.
Made by O'Brien.
Add another one to the stat sheet. Another kick save for the junior goalkeeper. Warriors trying to clear. Nice little overhead pass to Jane Muller.
At this point, it just seems effortless for her. Does not even
feed inside. The lefty around the cage. This one's off the mark. Mason will have the ball after the good backup there, but
shot there taken.
Pretty good shot there, just wide by Ellie Petrie. Mahoney takes it herself, is stuffed by Katie Whitmore. It goes into 2 defenders.
Great double team.
Absolutely. Working on Emmy Tepe. And Emmy's going to get booked for the foul. I thought that was pretty good defense, if you ask me. Tepe looks frustrated by the call, too.
It almost seems like she's been getting picked on a bit too much today. And it hasn't worked out for Mason as she's denied.
Here's Lila Glinsky, low angle. Ball was knocked out of her stick before she shot it. She was fouled. Another chance from a better angle this time is Glinsky, and she's had a really good game. She's another Mason Comet that really has left it all out there. And now she scores. 18-7, minute 15 to go. Mason team's going to leave here with momentum, but overall, overwhelming win. Just perfect game out of this Mariemont team. I'm sure Kevin Ferry is thrilled with his squad.
I mean, how could you not be? Right? They have shown out today. Brenna, Caroline, Piper, Sarah, they've all had an excellent game. And I'm sure now their strategy is just to run the clock out, maybe get ball behind GLE and just run.
And don't want anyone to get hurt in this stage of the game. 30 seconds left. Kuwach and Flynn on the face-off. Isn't that hilarious? 18-7 with 30 seconds left in a running clock, and the same 2 who took the opening face-off will take the last face-off. Just shows Kevin Ferry's team, they play till the final whistle no matter who it is and what the score is.
although they do not really rely on their depth, they have it and it's there. But the starters are just so good, and this team is it's just a puzzle, just all put together so nicely.
And the Warriors will win as time expires, 18-7, a huge win over a team ranked in the top 20 in the states, also a Division in the state, a Division I opponent. Patrick, I'm going to give my game MVP to Brenna O'Brien today. Kept them in the game in the first half with their saves, allowed them to pull away at the end of the first half with even more saves.
Yeah, I would second that. She had an unbelievable game. Honestly, I think this game would have been a lot closer if it wasn't for her.
Yep, and I don't think the Warriors win this game, or at least have the energy or the support today, without Sam Telkamp in the Staying Loudly game. Obviously, we've talked about this a lot today, but Sam being diagnosed with ALS, that was all for her today. What an event, and the festivities after the game will begin now. For Patrick Sweeney and Luke Brenneman and this entire ICRC crew, we say so long and have a good weekend.
Again, a round of applause for our referees who generously donated half of their fees for today's game to ALS. Thank you to the referees for your generosity. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who participated in Split the Pot, we have one winner who will receive $420. Get your tickets out. The winning ticket for Split the Pot is number 863533. Once again, the winning ticket, 863533.